Hello everybody, welcome back to ESPN and the football forecast. Excited to talk about some hot topics here, and we've got a lovely spicy title to kick off with. And we've got different views on this. Nubaid and Hugh are with me to digest this one. So, Man United, are they lazy? Let me just give you a couple of stats, and then I'm loving the smile from Nubaid. I'm going to go to Hugh first. I'm going to save that. So in terms of distance covered in that Brentford game, which was Brentford's first win over Man United since 1938. Distance covered, Brentford 109.4k, Man United 95.6. Total sprints, Brentford 90, Man United 65, and final third pressures 21 for Brentford, 7 for Manchester United. So are Man United lazy, Hugh?
There's a good argument for it, isn't there? Let's be perfectly honest. I mean, I lean towards yes, on the basis that I don't see enough of the Manchester United players wanting to win their one-on-one individual battles during the game. You can criticise so many people at Manchester United from top to bottom. Only 11 players start that football match. And in terms of motivating themselves as professional athletes, in terms of Premier League players with experience, most of them going over that line, it's not good enough. And only they are responsible for that. You know, you can talk about tactics, not knowing what the manager wants you to do, transitional period, all of those things. But ultimately, if you look at the performance, not just of Brentford, but of all the other 19 teams in the Premier League, a lot more of those players can walk off the pitch at the end of the game saying, I gave something to the game. I have that level of personal pride, and I'm not sure the Man United players can.
Do you think it can be as simple as that? I'm always struggling with the sort of heart and desire, they don't want it kind of thing. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that they don't want it.
Right.
But in terms of that individual battle,
I'm not seeing it.
I'm not seeing it. Yeah. I'm not seeing it. I mean, they haven't done it. Like, listen, I don't know what it is going to take them to be motivated. My personal view on it for a long time has been that they're shell-shocked. All the negative stories about them in the papers, whether they leak them or otherwise, all the negative results that there have been over at Manchester United over the past few years. The reality is, most of that dressing room either desperately want to be sold by the club or desperately want to leave themselves. And so that level of motivation is not there. No, that level of motivation is currently not there.
The thing is, psychology is 9/10 of any elite level sport. So where you're saying that, like, it sounds ridiculous to say they're just lazy, they can't run. Physically, they probably can run. They proved in pre-season they can run. The problem is when there's a crowd and when there's people heckling you and when the papers are talking about you and when the manager's getting talked about on the board and this, that and the other, all of a sudden your psychological sense goes, I'm not that guy. I mean, you ever sort of stepped on a pitch and seen someone who's bigger than you and gone, I'm not that guy today. You know?
Most times.
Well, you are that guy. I've seen you on the pitch. I think you get that fright, and I do agree to an extent. Like some of the United players have a fright. But
so, are you saying it's more a sort of a paralysis? You know, they're sort of shell shocked a little bit because the confidence is so low.
To an extent, yes.
And the pressure's so high.
But on the flip side, there is an argument to say, but then you take on Liverpool in Thailand during pre-season, you turn up, you roll him over 4-0, Sancho, Rashford, Martial, all of this. Of course, it's pre-season. But then the real problem for me is if, as a player, you can do that 3 weeks ago and 3 weeks later turn up against Brighton and just sort of stand with your hands on your hips when Lamptey's running past you or like Veltman's running past you, who's not quick at all. I worry
that supports your point because pre-season there's no pressure, and the moment you go into a competitive match in the Premier League, there's huge pressure and huge scrutiny. No one even remembers, let's be honest, pre-season games from last year or the year before that, and those few games from a couple of weeks ago are going to be a distant memory very, very soon, if not already. They don't matter. These games do, and these are the games that put Man United back on the back page.
Is it too easy to say Manchester United are lazy? Why are we not saying these 11 players are lazy?
What do you mean?
So we're saying like Manchester United has a paralysis and everyone at the club's lazy. Yeah. Sancho's only came in.
I don't think they are lazy.
You don't think they are lazy?
No. I think when I look at these stats, I look at it differently. I look at the fact that they had more possession than Brentford. And when you look at their average positions, you can see that in terms of the structure that Ten Hag wants, it's not miles off. My view on it is that they're not progressive. They don't know what to do when they get the ball. And I think Brighton and Brentford are two perfect examples of how you can spend as much money as you want, but you have to have a well-coached team with players who are hungry, but know what they're doing, know what their role is, and importantly, know what they're going to do when they get the ball. And that's the big thing for me. When I look at these numbers, and when I think about Man United having the ball, which they did do so, it's one where, because they're not progressive, Brentford have got 21 final third pressures to Man United 7, because they go, we're not scared of pressing you high up the pitch because you're not good enough to progress it through us. And then aside from that, they're going, have the ball, because Man United aren't going to do anything with it, because for 50 years now they haven't had a centre midfielder.
The only way that I can counter that is to say that this is not a new thing for this season. It's not a new thing under Erik ten Hag. This is the Manchester United of last season under Ralph Rangnick. This is the Manchester United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This group of players, a lot of them, the ones that aren't new to the club this summer, have shown us this level of application time and time again. I agree to a large extent with the psychological aspect, but however you want to look at it, these players continually go over the red line, put on the white line, put on the red shirt of Manchester United, and do not perform. And it looks to be more about effort than talent. Now, you can say managers change regularly. They haven't been coached well enough. You can use any argument you want. Like I say, it comes down to an individual, a highly paid individual playing for one of the best, biggest clubs in the world, who can't motivate themselves to go and put the effort in the Premier League, the best job in the world. I'm sorry, I've got no time for it.
That's my thing, right? Like, on the most basic level, from Sunday League, the manager will always say to you, go out there, have fun, just run. That's the most basic thing you can do at any level of football. The final third pressure is really interesting to me. Brentford 21 and United 7. What that means is, I would, as a manager, say to Rashford, Bruno, whoever's playing in that front three, just run after their defenders. Like, if they're going to press us, and Ten Hag's game plan is to press Brentford, anytime Brentford have the ball, you need to be able to press. United, when you watch the game back, there's times where they've got the ball with David Raya, and there's 3 United players practically on the halfway line, kind of just waiting for it to be played through. Now, I understand they've got to bear in mind that their midfield is non-existent. That was also on Ten Hag, by the way. I can go into that for days, but I won't. It's too early.
Save it for the preview.
Yeah. I just think it's so basic to just say to Rashford, just go and press their right back. Sancho, go and press their left back. Whoever it is playing through the middle, Ronaldo, whoever, just go and press one of their centre backs, so they can only play out to one. When Raya had the ball, he had 4 options. That is just not okay on the absolute basic level of football.
Thanks for watching Football Forecast. For more great content, make sure you're subscribed to ESPN UK.